and welcome to Teasing the NFL. This is your destination for NFL teaser bets. I'm Daniel Saludo along with Andrew Chang here. We are taking you through the early afternoon games for Week 1 of the 2021 NFL season. We are on the last game of the docket here. It is a nice matchup between the San Francisco 49ers going to the Detroit Lions. San Francisco is the favorite here at -7.5, and your total is 45. So San Francisco gets teased down to -1.5. Detroit gets teased up to +13.5. Your over gets teased down to 39, and your under gets teased up to 51. And you could hear Andrew immediately after hearing that line be like,
yeah, like the Homer Simpson, like,
donut.
San Francisco.
San Francisco teaser, yeah.
That sounds pretty good. Seeing that, I'm just gonna come right out with it. The Detroit Lions definitely lost that trade from Matt Stafford for Jared Goff. I'll be the first one to say it.
I think a lot of us would.
You know, I just feel the trajectory, and you can kind of chime in on this too. I'm not too big of a Carson Wentz fan, even though he had a magical season in Philly, multiple magical seasons. But Carson Wentz and Jared Goff, I feel, are on the same trajectory. I feel that they're...
Why?
Well, we followed Philly, or at least I did.
You did.
And Carson, and you know what? He was your fantasy quarterback for
last season, yeah,
quite some time. So you can chime in and say it's just a couple picks too many. A little bit.
Yeah. He also dealt with some drop balls as well, but yeah, he wasn't the fantasy quarterback I thought he would be, so I dropped him after a while.
Or just a plain out quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, that you should be. Jared Goff, I want to say, with that Rams team last season, if they had, I'm not sure if I should blame it all on Goff. I mean, their defense was amazing. They still have talent out there. If Cam Akers didn't get hurt prior to this season and last season, he was being limited by the reps.
Because it was a rookie and they wanted to get him in slowly. He took about half the season to really get acclimated with the team.
But for your wide receivers, you got Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, arguably Higbee is coming up in the tight end conversation. So really, Jared Goff just had to manage a couple games. I mean, when you have a good defense, I really don't think there's an excuse for that when you're in that kind of position. So I know Carson Wentz didn't have that good of a defense on Philadelphia, but I mean, he has Zach Ertz, and Dallas Goedert, interchangeable pieces time and time again. Maybe a little no, he didn't have Deshaun Jackson last. Did he?
He did.
Yeah. But then again, he didn't really have weapons, but I'm going to go back to focusing on Goff. I don't really have much confidence in this new Detroit Lions team, even though I still feel that it's the same old Detroit Lions.
No, they're worse. They're worse than last season.
Oh, well.
They're absolutely worse than last season.
Tell us how you feel, Danny. Why are they worse than last season?
Well, quarterback change, number one. They're downgrading in quarterback. They don't have really any offensive weapons outside of DeAndre Swift and TJ Hawkinson. Can you name one of the Detroit Lions wide receivers?
Not any one of them that did not get traded this offseason.
Exactly.
I was going to say Kenny Golladay, but I was
nope, he's gone.
Wait a minute, he's gone. I was going to say Golden Tate, but...
Long gone.
Yeah.
Long gone.
And yeah, it's just... For the life of me, and I'm sorry if I'm just not keeping up with the Lions, but I can't name any talents on there.
Yeah, it took me... I had to really think about it. I had to look at their... wide receiver depth, but their number one wide receiver is Tyrell Williams, who's not really anybody. He's a veteran, but he's not anything to be, wowed at. So
yeah, and on the other side of the ball, we have San Fran, who, is healthier this season, right? They're
much healthier,
fresh slate, so that defense is going to be ramped up a little bit. Actually, not a little bit. Let me take that back. That defense is going to be ramped up a lot.
You look for them to be the same defense that they were when they made their Super Bowl run 2 years ago.
Yeah, I like that. Jimmy G, Veteran, yes. Decent, maybe. But, he still has Brandon Ayuk. He still has what's Kyle Kuschek or whatever? The fullback.
Kyle Juszczyk?
Yeah. That's your
fullback.
boy right there. But yeah, I just have to have a little more faith in the 49ers, as they were kind of overrated, and I think for us, a little overbetted last season. But I think this season they'll come correct, and that's why Danny has chosen San Francisco plus.
No,
minus.
I would love to have them at plus
Oh,
one.
yeah.
That would be
I was like, that's a
fantastic.
no-brainer. But San Fran minus 1.5 against these pretty sorry Detroit Lions, I would definitely take that. I don't think I would see this game in my cards, but you never know. Danny?
Really? You just don't trust. You just don't trust San Francisco, really.
You know what?
You have a lot of. You're thinking a lot about last season. Is that what it is?
I am. And, well, not only that, but it's just, again, with the Detroit Lions, am I safer with going for maybe an under in this case?
You could.
Versus the San Fran minus 1.5. Let's take a look at that.
It's 30. It's under 51. The teaser's under 51.
Under 51, that is pretty tempting, I want to say, because Goff, I don't have a lot of faith in Goff. So,
I certainly don't.
So it's just like, maybe they can get 9 points on the board and the rest will be San Fran. So I would kind of lean towards the under, but ultimately I think the bet or the smash play here in this situation would be taking San Fran minus 1.5. What do you think?
Oh, there's no doubt this is
no doubt.
the absolute smash play. We talked about in the Tampa Bay game that they were going, that, I said like everybody and their mama is going to sit there and tease Tampa Bay. Everybody and their mama on their other half of their teaser with that is going to bet San Francisco. There's absolutely no way you should be thinking about anything on Detroit. They don't have any. There's nobody on their roster that makes you think upset. There's nothing in the roster that makes you think that. Their defense is terrible. They don't really have an offensive line. I'm not a Jared Goff person. I don't think he's got the talent. The only reason why he accelerated is because he had a great defense, great running game, and great coaching. He's not going to have that now. He's not going to have any of that. He's got DeAndre Swift, which is a nice piece, but that's about it. Have Hawkinson.
Your boy.
Yep. Also a nice piece. Yeah. Also a nice piece to have, but just not. There's not enough there. And then on the other side, you look at the defense for San Francisco. They're going to be one of the best in the league. They're going to be pretty much 100% healthy. Again, I looked for them really to be the San Francisco defense that was 2 years ago. Ooh. On the offense, yeah, you have Garoppolo, middle of the road, not bad, not great though. But you don't need him to be great in this. It's Kyle Shanahan. They're going to run the ball, pound the rock. It's a lot of that. So look for a lot of Trey Sermon. Look for a lot of Raheem Mostert in that. And then in the passing game, of course, you got Kittle. It's going to be back again. It's going to be a great weapon for him as long as he doesn't get hurt. And then you've got Ayuk, like you said, and Deebo Samuel. There's nothing there that leads me to believe that Detroit's really going to have any chance at this. And you have to take San Francisco minus 1.5. Even if it is week one and, upsets happen and everything, I don't think it happens in this case. There's too many factors that lead me to San Francisco. I actually think San Francisco is almost good enough to just bet straight up, but the tees are so advantageous, you just have to run with it. And so if you want to compare how these teams, you can look at how they did last season. So let's say, from my analysis, Detroit's worse than what they were last season. Well, last season they were 7-9 against the spread. Oof. They're home, so they were 3-5 at home against the spread. They lost 3 times over 5 against 5 losses. So they had 3 wins versus 5 losses at home against the spread. Terrible. If you go to the totals, they were 10-6 total to the over. At home, they were 6-2 to the over. The reason why that is because it's 1, bad defense, and 2, when you have Stafford, you're going to get some kind of offense going. There's no doubt about it. That's what's going to happen. On the flip side, with San Francisco, last season they were 7-9 as well against the spread. However, when they were away, they were 5-3 against the spread. So they were better away than they actually were at home. At home, they were 2-6. Weird. Totals wise, they were straight up 8-8. So away from home, they were 4-4. So it not much of a change there. But you look at 7-9 Detroit, look for them to get worse. I think that number gets worse. You look at San Francisco 7-9. I look for that ATS number to get better. So I mean, you can look at it and just say, yeah, it's got to happen here, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be. It should be on my betting card for the weekend. It's definitely tops or one of the top ones on my betting list for sure.
Ooh, okay. Well, I might have to follow you that this weekend, but we got a big day tomorrow, so
yeah. So you bring up a really good point. The under's a really nice choice here. 51's not a ton of points in the NFL nowadays, but I don't see the Detroit offense doing much. San Francisco, once they get a really nice padded lead, probably just run the ball out, just run it, pound the rock, and just limit what Detroit's offense will be able to do.
Yeah, if they can't stop the run, then why stop the run?
Yeah,
right. It just doesn't make any sense.
And it's Shanahan. All he does is love to pound the rock.
Right. So I just wanted to ask you about that under. So you're more comfortable taking San Fran -1.5 versus the under.
It's definitely to me one of the safest, not safest picks, but it's one of the biggest leans that I have for the weekend. San Francisco -1.5. If you want to do a same game, go with the under, but I don't necessarily recommend doing that. There's a lot of other value. We talked about some of the other games previously. There are a few more games in the late afternoon and prime time that are also advantageous, and we'll be able to get to those very soon. But really think about going with San Francisco -1.5. It's a nice piece of your teaser. So let us know in the comments how you think this game's going to go. If you're betting any of these sides or totals in this, hopefully you're betting the San Francisco side. Let us know in the comments. But until next time, for Andrew Chang, I'm Daniel Saludo. If you like the content you got in this video, give it a thumbs up, give it a like, subscribe, tick the notification bell, and select all. That way you stay up to date with all of our latest videos and previews for the rest of the season and week 1 here. Stay tuned for the late afternoon and primetime games. Those are coming up very, very soon. But until then, make sure you get your bets in. And of course, don't forget to be a tease.